Oh yeah, so I just thought I'd do a really quick video to show you a little trial that I'm doing this year, a new way of planting parsnips. So all I've done is I've planted some in these little sow trays. Now I put 2 or 3 seeds per sow, and I've been thinning them out because the germination, I'm still having to thin them out actually, missed odd ones, but the germination was absolutely fantastic, the best germination I've had with parsnips. Basically I've done 2 trays of these, that's about 170 sows, and I took them home and germinated them in the garage on a heat mat. So the actual germination, I mean, parsnips can always be a little bit sort of temperamental, and I've had some years where it's been really gappy sort of germination, so I just wanted to try this method to see if it works. I know being a root veg, growing them in sows, you would kind of think it wouldn't work. The reason I'm trying it is, I said in one of my other videos, my sister gave me a few sows, I think it was 15 to 20, it wasn't a massive amount, she had a few left over of some parsnips. She had either bought them or grown them in sows herself, I can't remember, and she gave them to me, and I remember thinking that isn't going to work, they're probably going to be all round, you know, the roots will be round in the sows, but I planted them out and they actually produced some really nice parsnips, nice straight and true roots. So it's just something I wanted to try, and so far obviously you can see the germination has been fantastic, and obviously I can now put them out knowing there's going to be a plant wherever I put one, without having sowing rows and only sometimes maybe getting 6 in a row and having big gaps, and it can be a bit of a pain. I am going to sow some direct at the end of the bed. I doubt there's enough here to fill it up completely, but basically what I've done is I've watered the bed, I've given it a bit of a rake over, and I've just got an old tool handle that just snapped off. I'll use as a long handled dibber, and if you water the bed first, when you make the holes they'll kind of hold their shape rather than filling back in with loose compost. So I'm doing them about 5 inches, some of them might be 6 inches. I'm just doing it by eye, I don't bother using a string or anything, and just give it a little push in and a little wiggle round, and that just gives me a nice hole to pop these into. Now I don't think these are going to be the easiest sows to pop out, because I don't want to leave them to get too big, obviously, because as they start to form the main taproot, that will then go round and round in the sow. So this is about the sort of size, you know, I wouldn't want them to get any bigger. Some of these smaller ones I may just leave in, and I may just, as they get to this sort of size, just pop them out. So I haven't actually looked to see what the sows look like yet. So it's just starting to maybe go around once at the bottom, but there's not too much root there, so I'm hoping that this will work. And obviously just popping them in the hole and leaving them to it. So I'm gonna get on and fill up the holes that I've done, and see how far we get with these 2 trays. The compost at the top is falling off some of them because the roots are tending to go straight down, but it's not a problem as long as they're holding together, then I'm happy with that. See, like that one, so half the compost fell off that one, but I'll just push a bit of compost in and around him as I push him down. Like I say, it's just a trial. I think it's good fun to try these things, because if these come out okay, then it's a way that I can have a completely full bed of parsnips without any gaps, and just get a much better germination rate. I mean, that was almost 100%. Like I said, I put 2 or 3 seeds per cell, and I have thinned out a couple in almost all the cells. So that's a really good germination rate, probably the best I've had with parsnips. So that's almost a full bed. That's come to just there. I have got a few that I've left in the trays, just the smaller ones. So I'll just let those come on a bit before I put them out. Just let them come on and get their second leaves and just fill the sows a little bit better. So I'm just going to give them water in. But other than that, they're done. So I will sow a bed of parsnips the normal way, direct, as well. This is just a trial. I'm just dedicating a bed to this just to try it, because if it does work and they do come true, then I think I would stick to this method definitely going forwards. It's just so much easier, and as you can see, if all these plants come and don't for some reason die, which there'd be no reason to, then I've got a gapless bed, and it'll all be you know, it helps to keep the weeds down, and that'll be nice and tight. The leaf growth will completely block out the light to any weeds, and it'll just help everything come along. So, you know, that's a perfect bed, really, perfect spacings. So I'm just really hoping we'll come and have a look later on in the summer, and perhaps sacrifice one, have a little dig down and look at a baby one, and just see if it is coming true. But yeah, you know, like I say, if it works, I'm definitely going to do this going forwards. But let's go and sow some direct now. So when I'm planting direct, I give the beds good water. If we haven't had a lot of rain, the beds here were the top inch was a bit dry, and so I just give them 2 or 3 cans, give the bed a nice soak, so that when you're drawing out the furrows to put the seeds in, it kind of holds its shape a bit better and doesn't just, drier compost tends to sort of fall back in. It just draws out a bit nicer. So I'm spacing them about 6 to 8 inches, all by eye. I don't really bother with lines, and I'll just use the same long-handled tool handle, broken rake it was, that I use as a dibber, and it just saves my back a bit, so I can do it all standing up and just lean across the bed and just draw the lines out backwards and forwards, and it just saves me back a little bit. So I'm putting them about a sort of 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. By the time I fill back in and just gently tap down, they'll be sort of 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. I'm doing half this bed parsnips, I'm going to do the other half carrots. So I'm going to get the seed now and sow in here, and I'll sow them not too thickly, probably 3 seeds every couple of inches, something like that, 3 or 4 seeds, and then I'll just thin them to about a similar spacing as I've done these, 4 to 5 inches apart. So some of those are 6 inches apart, but in here I might leave them sort of 3 to 4 inches apart, and hopefully we'll get some good germination. So I just sow half the bed from each side because I can't quite reach across. It's a little bit windy, so I'm just trying to be careful not to have the seeds blow out all over the place. I'm probably sowing a little bit thicker than I said. Actually, I'm probably doing, I don't know, yeah, probably 4 or 5 seeds every couple of inches. I've got quite a big pack of seeds here, so you know, better to thin and not have so many gaps than end up with gaps. So I will actually sow a little bit thicker. So once I've sowed the seed, I literally just use my rake and just gently pull the compost and push the compost from either side back over, just like that, nice and simple. And then I'll just go over it with the back of the rake and just give it a little tamp down, just gently, not really compacting it, but just gently tamping. Just sort of pushing the compost down so you've got good contact with the seed. And then the last thing to do once I've finished the rest of these will be to just give it all a good water, and that just helps to get the seed nice and moist and to pull the compost down so you got that good contact for germination. You don't want any sort of air pockets or anything in there. And I'll keep this moist, not sodden, but just moist, and until we get some good germination, hopefully. So the last thing I'll do is I'll net it, because I always get the blackbirds in there hooking about looking for worms, and they'll just hook the seed all out and flick it everywhere. So I'll just put some bird netting over the whole bed when I've finished these and the carrots. I'm going to put the carrots in next, keep it netted, and then we just got to wait for it all to pop up, and then it'll be thinning time. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you stay tuned. I will show later on how these parsnips did grown in the modules. Hoping they're going to do really well. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for those, but I will update in the summer. And anyway guys, take it easy, and we will see you next time.